when they win, we got to start out with some positives, man.
Yes.
Give me some positive things that happened today that not only were positive for today, David, but things that the 49ers can build on. Because as you know, the 49ers have lost 2 games in a row going into this. They gave one away last week. Should have absolutely won that game. They didn't, however. And then they're playing a bad Patriots team. Let's just call it what it is. This team is not good. One of the worst passing defenses in the NFL. Good run defense, but they can't generate any offense whatsoever. They were down to their 5th string left tackle, their 3rd string left guard. They lost their center on the first drive. Absolutely atrocious team, but that does not mean that good things didn't happen that they can't carry over into the rest of the season and turn into positive. So what did you see today, Dave? Whether it's fantasy football or higher lowers, Underdog has got you covered. Link is in the description. Promo code LSS to get your deposit match 50% up to $1,000 and your 1 free pick. Underdog, make picks, win money. Shout out to Underdog for being a great sponsor.
Yeah, and I got a good list of positives, and then at the end I kind of tweeted out my curmudgeonly thing, said, hey, I'll be honest, though, a game like this, you should beat it. Anytime you beat an opponent by 17 in the NFL. However, in the first 3 weeks of the year, you've got all this residual, not playing in the preseason, trying to figure teams out, get your health right. I feel like week 4, like this Patriots team, unequivocally, I think you can tell is one of the teams that's going to be vying for the number 1 pick. Let's be honest. And so, to me, my positive list, and I'm just going to run through them. Then you can is Sam Okwonanu. Because our attrition on the defensive line has been really unfortunate, and I'm really worried about that. But if not for Sam Okwonanu, I don't know where this team is exactly going to be with depth. And boy, he was a force in the run game. He was generating pressure. He was freeing up opportunities for other players. Nick Bosa was all over the field today. Everybody said, "Oh, he's not getting the sacks." He was getting double, triple teamed. Absolutely a menace. Fred Warner, I think his injury is probably not that big of a deal. I think they were just playing it safe. I hope, because Fred right now, I mean, is a one-man wrecking crew. And then, here's one thing we'll talk about as a negative. A positive, I said I had Brock using his legs to extend and run. We'll get to the negative on that. And then Brock confident going downfield. We'll get to the negative on that. But then just great third down D for the most part. It was about 5 of 15 on third down. They only given up less than 3 yards of play. But you expect to do that against a Patriots team that is offensively lackluster.
Yeah, I mean, the defense had been atrocious going into this game, and this was supposed to be a get right game.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to hold it against them that they were playing against a bad team when they did what they were supposed to do against a bad team. Last week, they didn't do what they were supposed to do against a team that hadn't won and was down a bunch of players as well. Defensively, they really didn't hold things down last week. This week they did. They dominated the way that they were supposed to. And that's a good sign, because good teams can't make up their schedule, but what they can do is win dominantly when they are supposed to. And that's what the defense did today. The defense really set up. The reason that the 49ers were able to score 30 was because of the defense. You had a defensive touchdown, and twice you basically started in field goal range as an offense because of the defense setting you up. So essentially, 13 points you can give to the defense? That's good. That's exactly what you want. Bosa, against a 5th string left tackle, dominated and took the game over when he was supposed to. That had been missing up to this point. And then the other positives that have been positives really through the first 3 weeks, Mason, Purdy, Fred Warner. Those 3 players continue to play well. I agree. I think Fred Warner, with the ankle injury, it sounds like it was a precaution. He was laughing on the sideline. He had his helmet on. Probably would have gone back in if it was up to him, but the 49ers didn't allow him to. And then I want to point out 2 more things. One of them, you said, Sam Okwonanu, who had a fantastic training camp. At that point, Coach and I had talked about him every single day, it felt like, but we couldn't pronounce his name, so we felt so awful. But he might be the needed depth at the edge position that is missing, and maybe they don't have to go make a trade. Maybe they can make a trade elsewhere. That is big time, because they do need the depth there. And then I also want to say this. schematically, this was the first week, at least early on. I didn't pay like uber close attention to it throughout the rest of the game, but I know the first 3 or 4 drives for the Patriots saw a lot of simulated pressures, saw a lot more blitzes, and this is something that had been missing the first 3 weeks. They were the lowest blitz rate team in the NFL at 6.5% by a wide margin, by the way. I think the third lowest blitz rate team is over 14%. And they weren't showing the simulated pressures that you thought Staley was brought in to do. Well, finally today you saw a glimpse of those things. So I think that can carry over as they parlay this into future games and heading into Arizona next week.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there were a couple of plays too where I was singing the praises of Demo Lenore. There were a couple of plays where he got a penalty, which was absolutely ridiculous. He had a catch that was reminiscent, I want to say, of the Jets game against Garrett Wilson, where it's a back shoulder throw. Both Rodgers and Brissett threw absolute dimes, and Lenore was in perfect position. He continues to be a guy that is absolutely going to earn whatever paycheck that he's going to be the next big defensive salary. And I agree with you. And I think that the problem that I would say, and I know we're talking positives, is I want to see defense. I want to see defense put things away, right? And there'll be some things that we talk about. And you win by 17, I get it, right? But so
I think it would be remiss too if we didn't mention Juwan Jennings. I mean, he's a contested catch monster, dude. Like, talk about a 50-50 go ball type player. Like, he's turning into that. That's 2 weeks in a row where he's absolutely wrestled the ball away from a defender. This week was a little bit different. It was a really good throw. He had a defender hanging on his back and he was still able to bring it in. Last week, it was a clear, not even a 50-50 ball. It was a 70-30 ball in favor of the defense, and he still came down with it. This week, the ball was placed very well by Brock, but still an extremely tough catch when you have a defender with a hand in there and then hanging on your back. He's 100%. Absolutely been incredible, man. Juwan Jennings is that deal right now. Love it.